Hello everyone, welcome to Jesse's Aquarium. My name is Jesse, and today's topic is going to be about reverse osmosis water, or RO for short, and the benefits of using reverse osmosis water in your reef tank system. Pretty much the benefits of using a reverse osmosis system is to have pristine, clear, good quality water in your reef system, because a lot of your delicate invertebrates will have issues down the road. Might not be apparent at that time, but you may have some issues with your invertebrates dying off or not growing as healthy as they should, being that the water quality is very low. One of these systems that I have, or the one that I have really, it's a 5-stage RO system. Makes 150 gallons per day of water. And the first chamber that we have on the system is a sediment filter that filters out like a lot of the iron and heavy other metals that are in your water system. Also, we have 2 carbon blocks. The first one being a more coarse carbon block that removes a lot of chlorine and chloramines out of the water, and as well as some other impurities. The second carbon block, it's a more finer carbon block. That one pretty much removes a lot of detergents and things like that out of the system as well. And then we get down to the muscle of your RO system, which is your RO membrane. And this membrane is a fine mesh rolled up tube that fits right inside of the slot of the RO chamber. And this system pretty much forces water pressure through the RO membrane, allowing all the water molecules to pass through, while the other molecules, when it comes to detergents and some other viruses and bacteria, their molecules are so large to the point where they can't make it through the RO membrane. So the water, good water, comes out of it, and then we have what's called wastewater that gets pumped out of the system and down a drain of your choice. And then the good water, as it still passes through, it goes to our deionization chamber, which pretty much has little resin beads in it, and they are positive and negatively charged, so they further remove any minerals and impurities in the water. Before and after that, filters out, goes straight down into our tube and down into our collection bin. And once you've collected all your good water inside your container, then you're good to go to use this water in your reef system or in your just your normal saltwater fish tank. I also wanted to explain to you some of the components, the extra components that's on this RO system. The first one is a flush valve that we have, and pretty much what this flush valve does is it drains all the impurities off of your 4 chambers. Start with your sediment filter, your carbon blocks, and also off your RO membrane, because there is water still sitting inside these containers, and what they do is have a buildup of TDS, or total dissolved solids. You want to make sure those solids are not sitting on any of your chambers. So what happens is that we open up the system and turn the water on and let the water flush off each one of the chambers. I allow mine to do this for like 10 minutes. And then once that happens, I'll shut the valve back and I'll let the pressure build up on the pressure gauge that is also on the system. And the pressure gauge, it reads the 220 psi, but for normal water coming through your home, and to make sure that good pressure is on the RO membrane, we only need a psi of 30 to 50. So once we get that pressure built up and we get around 30 to 50 psi coming through, then we're good to go. And I also wanted to show you another component, which is a auto shutoff valve. And the shutoff valve works by pressure or back pressure that is happening on the system. So what happens is when you have water collected inside of your container, you have what's called a auto shutoff valve that's on here, and once that thing closes, pressure builds up in the lines, And this thing right here, this auto shutoff valve knows, hey, I got to stop making water. And what it does is it stops any wastewater from going down, and that saves you a whole lot of money and a whole lot of water being drained down your system. So once this, like I said, this flush valve, it goes up, you pretty much don't have to worry about any water running over on your floor or what have you, and you'll be good to go. Another thing as well that you want to do, as far as your DI system is concerned, you want to change out this resin, when you can. This resin up here, it comes in blue, nuclear grade, and when it gets exhausted, it turns yellow or a brownish looking color. So once that happens, of course, it's time to change it out. And you have some pre-filters that are in here that help keep that DI resin in place, so that when you get ready to take this thing apart, take the two couplings off the ends, you pull those little pre-filters off. That way you can flush all that DI resin into your trash, rinse out your collection cups and everything in there, your filters, add new DI resin in there, and then you're good to go. Also, your 3 carbon filter, or your 3 filters in the first 3 chambers, you're going to want to make sure you change those out at least every 6 months. Pretty much what I do is I have it set in my phone to where I know, it's time to change these things. They've been running for a while now. And what I'll do, I'll twist all these off, remove those 3 filters, sediment, 2 carbons, and then I'll add them back in there. Make sure there's no dust or anything on them. And then I'll plug the system back up and we'll be ready to go. One thing that it does not have installed on it is a TDS meter. I pretty much just have a TDS probe, and I check the water quality, make sure that it has 0 TDS coming out of the DI chamber. But what it is that the TDS meter, it installs similar to this shutoff valve and to this pressure gauge. You install it right at the valve or the tube leading into your DI chamber. And pretty much what you do is you install it there, and it tests the total dissolved solids coming off of your RO membrane. So you always want to have a TDS of 0. So as long as it's having a TDS of 0 coming off of the RO membrane, we should be good to go. And also, you can install it on the end of your DI resin chamber to make sure that it has a 0 TDS water quality coming out as well. As long as you don't have those solids in your water system, you should be pretty much good to go. So that's pretty much how our RO system works. Now, there's some additives that you can add to your water if you feel like, hey, I don't trust that the carbon blocks are doing their jobs. You can add some other conditioners, like something for removing removing chlorine and chloramines. You can also add any tap water conditioners to remove any heavy metals. And you can also add one of these products that helps restore and maintains the general hardness of your water. The general hardness of your water would have different salts in there, like calcium, magnesium, and potassium. That DI chamber is pretty much pulling a lot of those things out of there. And a lot of those things are in there, probably not in your water source as well. So this product doesn't have to be this brand, but it can be any brand that pretty much maintains the general hardness of your water. You can add that back in there. Now, for those of you who don't have a RO system, or say, these things are too expensive to have, like I said, there's tap water conditioners that you can buy. And like I said, this one here removes chlorines and chloramines, detoxifies ammonium nitrate in your water. You want to add, according to the directions, set by the manufacturer, how much to however many gallons of water. Make sure we break up those chemical bonds of the chlorines and the chloramines. And the same thing with the tap water conditioner. A lot of these things, they remove heavy metals as well. So you want to add that according to the instructions on the bottle, just to make sure you are definitely breaking up the chemical bonds, of the elements that are in the water. And it is a alternative. It's not the safest alternative. If you have a reef system, you definitely want to use one of these right here. To make sure that that water doesn't have any viruses and all those other molecules that are harmful to your reef inhabitants and your vertebrates on there. But if you can't, you can pretty much try your luck with this right here. You may have some success. You never know. Some people do. Some people just use just these two chemicals alone, and they say that their system runs fine. And if that's the case, if it's working for you, hey, I say keep doing it. Don't change it. But for me personally, I like to make sure that, I'm going the extra step, make sure my water quality is very, very pristine and clear for my invertebrates. Because one thing about reef keeping, it's not about keeping fish or corals, it's about maintaining water. So long as we have good water parameters and good water quality, we shouldn't have any issues with, having our invertebrates and our fishes happy. Hopefully this was helpful to all you out there. If you got any questions, just let me know. Leave them in the comment box below. And also, again, thank you for watching. Hope you like this video and hope you subscribe and look for further more videos on these things. Thank you.